That's another one. Soon. Like, soon as, there you go. There's
Tanuki.
a Yamatanuki, Yabaduki, whatever. Just gotta get all cleaned up.
Yeah. Gotta make sure I look good.
Yeah.
Hey guys, welcome back to Fisherman's Warehouse. Luke Johns here with Ish Monroe, and we're going to bring you this week a fishing report. I know it's something new for us, but I think it's something we're going to kind of start to do regularly on a weekly basis, hopefully. But yeah, so anyways, I know you've been all over the place. I know you were just at the Classic, but you got to have a fishing report for somewhere, right?
Well, I mean, I've been fishing the Delta. Obviously, see, I had a top 10 finish in the Toyota Series out on the Delta. Folks, the Delta is ready to blow wide open. I mean, we're talking about some really great fishing, lots of fresh water coming in. Influx of fresh water means that the fish are going to be healthy and they're going to be feeding. I caught all my fish that week on a chartreuse spinnerbait with a Colorado Indiana blade and a Colorado blade in chartreuse. One had a Colorado red blade in the front of it with the Indiana blade. It's what's called I call it a muddy water spinnerbait, especially at this time of the year. The water gets really muddy. You've seen how much water we've gotten. And then you can't go wrong with the black and red as the flipping bait that I was using, a Missile Baits D-Bomb in black and red, punching through the thick hyacinth, and I was using our Angler's King 1 ounce weight. I mean, it's one of the best weights out there on the market, available at Fisherman's Warehouse and fishermanswarehouse.com. And River to Sea New Jack 5/0 flipping hook. And what we're doing is I'm putting on 70-pound Daiwa Samurai braid, 8-foot Tatula Elite Series flipping stick designed by me, Ish Monroe, and the 7-to-1 gear ratio. Of course, had to throw that in there. But the 7-to-1 gear ratio, I tell people, the Tatula Elite flipping pitch reel 7-to-1 gear ratio is fast enough to take up the line, but enough torque. And what a lot of people think that, I need an 8-to-1 or a 9-to-1 gear ratio, that is too fast, and you don't have the torque for pulling those fish out of that thick, heavy cover. But I was fishing thick, heavy, dead hyacinth. Dead hyacinth was the key. I believe when that sun popped out, that dead hyacinth had the warmness to it. And I mean, we're talking 0.1, 0.2, 0.3 degree difference, which makes a huge difference, especially at this time of year when the fish are actually cold and they want to be warm. Dead end sloughs played a huge key on catching a lot of those fish, and had a couple little super secret spots that I can't give you. Sorry,
that's fair enough.
They're my super secret spots, but the Delta is fishing really, really good. And I actually even took one day off and took my fiance and took her up, and we fished on Don Pedro, and the floating fly bite was still on, and we caught them on.
You
the
throw on a floating fly?
Well, I do. That's the one
on
thing.
On a stick rod at least or something, right?
It was not on a flipping stick rod, but it was on a 7/6 spinning rod. Yes,
okay,
I do own a spinning rod.
Wow.
They exist because I have to. But
day.
yes, you do learn something. I have one, I think, or two, maybe.
Okay.
But yes, it was the bite was really good at Don Pedro, and I've been hearing rumors that McClure is on fire, Maloney's is on fire. All the lakes right now are pretty much on fire, but guys are catching them. Spinnerbaits, square bills, chatterbaits, the jackhammer. Who can go wrong with a jackhammer in the springtime? It just catches them.
Exactly.
What have you been up to?
I've been with a whole mix of things. So, of course, we got the Western Bass Shootout coming up for the Wild West, and, I guess it's everybody. It's Wombass, it's MLF, all those guys combined. So that's coming up. So I've been, focusing on the Delta.
That's
and,
good.
of course, most people, when they hear me talk about the Delta, they don't listen like when you talk about it. Because
so you were listening is what you're saying.
For good reason, because I do not have the most consistent track record out there. But I did go out Saturday and Sunday. I managed to stick an 8 on Saturday. That was cool.
Heck yeah.
That was one of 3 fish, of course. I caught all those fish on an SB 57, which square bill you were just talking about. These fish in spring, they're even though it's cold, they're still ready to move up shallow. The days are getting longer. They're getting all the other cues they need that it's time to spawn, other than that warm weather. And, like we've seen it today, it's still raining outside, which is ridiculous. But it is what it is. And thankfully, that's going to mean we got a lot of water in these lakes. But, aside from that, went out the next day, caught a bunch of fish on a spinnerbait. Like, you had already mentioned, it's typical springtime. It's going to be those reaction baits. They're going to be up feeding, getting fat before they spawn. And that spawn's coming, and when it comes, it's going to be crazy this year because
yes, it is.
I mean,
they've
been held back more and more, and all of a sudden, when we get a warm day, every one of those fish is going to be ready to push up. So hopefully that's the week of April 14th, 15th, and 16th.
No, not that week because I'm gone that week. I'm actually back east, so they can wait till the week I get back.
I need it because that's my best shot at actually having a good finish is
beating that
bedfish.
Ken Ma,
Yeah.
beating that Ken Ma
Yep,
guy.
beating
Yeah.
Ken Ma, because
Yeah.
if it's fishing like it is right now, based off my first 2 days of practice, it ain't looking too hot. But yeah, aside from that, the lakes are doing really well. Of course, we got water everywhere. I know Folsom's been coming up a bit. I follow a lot of the Folsom fishing reports. I know a lot of people that fish out there, and that lake is fishing phenomenal this year. I think it's probably the best it's been in the last 5+ years, or even more actually. So
You won Apex.
I did.
On
I did
Folsom,
win
so
Apex.
you do know a little bit something about Folsom.
That one's. I got a better track record there, so I can actually talk about that one. But all your bait fish, imitations are working really well right now. The A rig out there, that bite's been crazy all year. Just throwing a single Kitech. That's what I won the Apex event on. Was just a single Kitech on an owner ball head. That thing was perfect. And then anything else up shallow, I know some guys are catching them cranking, some guys are catching them on spinner baits, which it's not really the typical Folsom with the drop shot.
Right.
So we're actually getting some fun fishing out there finally, and the quality of fish out there is getting a lot better. We're seeing 3-4 pounders, every time you go out and fish, which normally, you're like, oh, cool, I caught a 3-pounder today. Now it's like, oh, whatever, I need a couple more of those if I'm going to do anything. So, yeah.
We caught a lot of those. You caught a lot of fish, yes.
So should be a really good year. But I know we just had the Classic too. You were at the Classic.
Yes.
That seemed like quite the show.
Oh my God!
They know how to put on a tournament.
Well, the tournament itself, you can't say that. First day, Gussie, he's blowing it out.
Yeah.
Everybody's just like, oh my God, he caught his limit in 20 minutes. He's got this thing won. Hands down. Day 2, he goes out there, little bit slower day, but he still strokes them. He's leading by 6 pounds. What does he do on day 3? I don't even know if
Makes
I can
it
think.
as scary
It's
as he could as what he did.
He did. Absolutely.
Yeah.
The
It was
guy
terrifying.
catches 2 bass. So you go from catching 17 pounds a day with a 6-pound lead, and you catch 2 bass. I know in my mind, I'm sitting there thinking, okay, I got 2 for 6.5, 7 pounds. Actually, I would have said 4.5, 5 pounds because I always go under. I don't pull the Iconelli big time. Oh my God, it's a 3-pounder and it's a 1.5 pounds, or and I don't call the Skeet Reese where I've only got 10 pounds and he has 15. That's how Skeet rolls. So all you folks out there, Skeet lies. Yes, he does about how much fish he actually has. But
I do a little bit of that.
You do a little bit too.
I'd shave a pound or 2 off.
No,
usually.
I'm pretty close because I once again I'm going to tell you straight. Like if I got 25, I want to tell you I got 25. I don't want to have 25 and I got 28, or I don't want to have 25 and have 22.
See, that's what I don't want. I don't want to be the guy. I got 25, then you weigh 20, and you're
right.
Like,
Exactly. But so in my mind, I would have been like, okay, I got a 6-pound lead and I caught 4.5 pounds a day. That means the guy's got to go out and catch 11 and beat me. The guy who's in second, the guy who's in third catching 12, the guy who's in fourth catching 13, and those guys were catching those bags.
And that fishery was getting warmer as it went.
Getting warmer.
Which, for those largemouth guys, if you're leading and you're catching smallmouth and those largemouth guys are chasing you, just got to think their bite's getting way, way better.
Exactly. You're gonna be one more bite away. Like I'm like, if I'm John Cox, if I'm Brian Smith, I'm just sitting here thinking, all right, one bite, that 1 4-pound, that 1 5-pound bite. And Drew Benton, I talked to him and Drew was like, I pulled up a dock, last 5 minutes, I throw my spinnerbait up there, a 4-pounder comes out and he watches him eat the blades. Not the skirt, eats the blades. And he's like, well, what do you do in that situation? I'm like, there's nothing you can do. I mean, you go to set the hook, you hope to maybe hook him, free spool it, but then he's got to still inhale the bait. He was just like, there was nothing you do. He was done. And he says he goes to the next dock and he throws his spinnerbait up there again. And once again, like we talked about, the spinnerbait bite is on because it's spinnerbait time of year. And he says he winds it by the dock and he watches this 3-pounder come out and look at it and then turn away from it. And he ends up catching like a 12-pound bag, and he only had 4 fish. And so he's sitting up here just like, that one fish, 3-pounder or 4-pounder, I win the Classic, either one. Those other 2, you catch them both, and you blow the Classic away. You come out of 5th or 6th place. And then John Cox, he's one of the best shallow water guys out there. The guy has an aluminum boat, drafts that much. He's fishing dirt shallow, places that nobody else can get. He's going to get a 5 or 6 pound bite. He didn't. So Gussie, I know, is sweating. And
Oh, yeah.
Mitch doing the one thing that I would never do in the springtime fishing for largemouth, and that is finesse fishing.
Gets bites. Gets bites.
Oh, the
I
missile.
respect it. That's all I'm
You
going
can
to say.
respect it
I
because
respect it.
you're that guy. You're that guy.
know
You
what?
respect it.
I respect it.
But the Missile Baits Mini Magic Worm, brand new, introduced at the Classic. What does Brian Schmidt do? He has them, a bait that they haven't seen. It's made by RoboWorm, so obviously you know it's a great bait.
Mm-hmm.
And
California staple.
He went out there and he caught him on it and just being consistent, catching a 14-pound bag, catching a 13-pound bag, coming back in with a 10-pound bag. And that 10-pound bag was almost enough.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking
Scary
a pound.
close.
Scary close.
Scary
1
close.
pound. But he caught a lot of fish. That was the one thing. And he said it. He said with the boat traffic and everything that was going on, he was actually shaky heading, and he threw that mini magic worm up there, and he put this new, I'm not sure, you being a buyer here at Fisherman's Warehouse, you got some intel. I didn't know about this, but it's something that you screw in the back of the worm to change the color, and it also floats.
Yeah, I don't know that one yet.
You're gonna have to look that up because
that might be one of those JDM website things I got to go on my deep dive for.
Gotta go to deep dive for. But once again, Fisherman's Warehouse, we have those little intricate things, so that's why I had to ask if you had that. And so he caught him on that bait, and he was throwing the mini magic worm. The Bassmaster Classic, super exciting, great finish. I mean, once again, if anybody watched it, things are going the same way out here on the West Coast. Just the fish are ready to move up. It's going to be a great year fishing with all this rain. And I'm going to tell you, good luck at the shootout.
Thank you.
I wish I was there. I know.
I'm kind of glad you aren't. No
Thanks.
offense.
I appreciate that. But the Western Bass
spot I can move
one
up.
more best spot you can move up. But the Western Bass Shootout is going to be great. So, folks, get yourself down to Fisherman's Warehouse, Manteca, Fairfield, and Sacramento, and get all the information you want. You can actually see Luke Johns at the Western Bass Shootout. He'll be up there signing autographs and taking photos, kissing babies. And you can catch me traveling across the country and actually in the Manteca store quite often. So, folks, get online, get your tackle, get out there fishing, and you got anything for them?
I couldn't have said it better myself. I'll see you at the Western Shootout, see you in the stores, and see you on the water.